This is FitzFlicks. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Boys Season 4. I'm going to start us off by saying I am a huge fan of The Boys. I think the show is just great. I could not wait for this season. And I'm happy to say that it is a great season. I'm not going to say it's one of the best, but it was a lot of fun. And I think the characters were really good in this still. But it does have some weaker points, which does bring it down a peg from some other seasons. And I'll talk about that later. But first off, I'm going to get into some more specifics. We're going to start off with Billy Butcher's character, who I think was really great in that second half of the season, which could make you forget, but I think in the first half, Butcher's character didn't have much to do, and I thought that was, I don't know, very saddening, because Butcher was my favorite character up to season 4, and I think it might have switched because of that. He's still really good in that second half of the season, like I said before, but in the first half, I think this is Butcher's worst bunch of episodes, are those first 4. He wasn't great in, but these past 4 were really good, so we'll have to see. I think, what I'll say is that the first 3 episodes, which they released as the premiere, were pretty mid overall. But every episode after the premiere, I had a great time with, and I thought was up there with great episodes from season 1, season 3, season 2, which I love. So interesting. Huey is a character that I'll just say is good all throughout, like he has been in every season. I think this guy is just very consistent. I think his character is just he's just one that's always there, and always he's always good to see on screen, and I don't have much more to say about that. He's just always there, and he's always a good character, and he has good storylines. The stuff his dad was very emotional, and his mom, and then I'll actually wait to talk about the Tech Knight stuff a bit later. An issue that I have with the season is that I feel like they were on the verge of giving him more development and more characterization, but he simply wasn't a main focus as much as they kept trying to, because they had so much characters and different storylines they had to put in that I guess got a bit sidelined, even though he was like almost the group leader for 1 or 2 episodes of the season, and so yeah, I hope that in season 5 we'll get a bit more characterization from him. Starlight, she felt a bit different. I think that I guess her character toughened up in between seasons, but she I don't know, she doesn't have the same charm, or like in the first 3 seasons I was putting her at top 5 characters, and this season I don't know, I think her character is just not as interesting. Maybe it's because she wasn't using her powers, or she was in hiding most of the season, but yeah, she was still good, but not nearly as good as in the first 3 seasons. Next up, Frenchie and Kimiko. They had some good moments, like when they were together, or when they were looking out for each other, but they had a lot of dull moments. I think the whole Colin storyline with Frenchie wasn't executed well, because there wasn't much, like, the whole show was basically trying to, up to season 4, we're basically setting up this Frenchie Kimiko relationship, and then the whole Colin storyline scrapped that, just so that a few episodes later Frenchie and Kimiko did find that relationship. And so yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. But when they did end up having that moment, it was very good. I really liked it. It's just that the Colin storyline wasn't my favorite, and it was a bit weird because out of all people that you're gonna go with, Frenchie, you're gonna go with this guy because I would want to stay far away from this guy as possible after finding out what you did, because you have to watch the show to know, because I'm not gonna spoil it. But yep, that was it was one of the worst options you could have picked, because why do you have to? Okay, sure, you're into guys, but this guy is. Of course he's gonna hate you. Of course he's gonna hate you. You can't blame him for hating you. I would hate him. I would hate you too, Frenchie. Anyway, I think that A-Train has one of the best redemption arcs in the whole show. He was just so good this season. I liked how just in one save he had more satisfaction than he's had working at VOT for all the years he's been there. And he got way more recognition at VOT than he did for this one moment that he did save someone. He only got one little kid to see him, but it was a really great moment. And he finds out that he is not really a big fan of being part of the Seven, and he wants to help out the boys because it's that they're doing more right than the Seven are. And I thought that was a really good redemption arc. Just a bit disappointed with how they handled him in the finale. I could have seen a bit more A-Train, but really liked him the rest of the season, so good on them. This is probably A-Train's best season. Next up is The Deep is the same stupid, funny, little comic relief that he was in the other seasons. Yeah, I can't really comment on too much. One thing I'll say is that it is become a bit repetitive and annoying, his characterization. I would have been totally upset if they would have ended his character here at Season 4. But since they have kept him for Season 5, I'm hoping they do something interesting with him for the next season. So we'll have to see. I think that Sister Sage and Firecracker were very weird but interesting characters. Specifically Sister Sage, because she felt like she always had some part of the plan figured out. She even reveals at the end of the season that her plan went the way that she was hoping for it to go, and it's so weird that was the case, because I feel like so many things out of the buzz just happened that should have ruined her plan, but hey, apparently her plan worked out, so we're gonna have to just see how that goes. The Firecracker was mostly just weird. The whole thing she did for Homelander was very interesting. But they kept her for Season 5, so I'm hoping that they do something interesting there. Next up is the new Black Noir, who I thought was just hilarious, very funny character. I love how the actor finally gets to take his mask off and talk and really show the comic side of the character of Black Noir. And he has different skill sets as the old Black Noir, so it gives him a bit more. It just gives him a bit like he is basically a different character, and I really liked him. And the whole thing where about he's narcoleptic because the actor is narcoleptic, so they took that joke and incorporated it into the storyline. I thought that was hilarious. Really, really funny stuff. Really like that. And then Joe Kessler, who's of course played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. If you didn't know, The Walking Dead's one of my favorite shows of all time. And Negan is my favorite character. And so when Jeffrey Dean Morgan was cast in this show, I was so excited and hyped, because this is also one of my favorite shows, and I knew he would be great, and he is great in this. He doesn't get nearly as much screen time as I was hoping, but he was still really, really good. And I can't wait to see him more in Season 5. But one thing I'll say is that his plot twist involving Butcher was a bit too obvious. I feel like I knew, like, episode 5, I figured it out, and it was revealed only like episode 6, so I knew like 2 episodes ahead the plot twist. So that was that could have been dealt a bit better, like less obvious, or like it was more 50-50 if it was gonna happen, because I was pretty damn sure that I knew what the plot twist was, and I did. I was like 85% sure I thought it was going in this direction, and it did go in that direction. So I wish that was better dealt with. But I think that yeah, Joe Kessler was great, and he made Butcher more enjoyable this season, and is why Butcher is so great in the second half. Next up is Ryan. He's not my favorite character, but I think people do give him a bit too much hate. That's mostly because he is a kid. That's why he gets most of the hate. But my big problem with him personally is that he doesn't really... His agenda is so off, which I guess falls him in line with Homelander, because Homelander would do stuff like this when he was a kid. I bet would do stuff like this when he was a kid. But one day he's very pro Homelander. The next day he'll go to Butcher, but that kind of makes sense because you see him unraveling the corruptness of Vought. So it makes sense why he goes to Butcher, but what he learns from Butcher I don't think is bad enough for him to go back to Homelander. And also after the way Homelander after what Homelander does, which makes him go to Butcher, that would just increase the fact of why would you go back to Homelander. None of it made sense for me. Yeah, Ryan, it made more sense to go with Butcher. I don't know what happened there, but whatever. I thought that the whole Huey's mom storyline was really good. But then halfway through the season, she disappears, doesn't show up again. So I don't know if they're gonna delve back into that storyline. I don't know if she was just there to send off Simon Pegg's character, Huey's dad. But I did like her storyline, and I had a theory that she was also in Huey's head, and that the Temphy was the reason why they were both Huey and Butcher were seeing people, but she is real. So the Temphy had nothing to do with it. It is the Compound V that is affecting Butcher. So yeah, I thought that would have been a more interesting plot twist, and I think it would have been better if it was Huey's mom and Kessler were both. I just spoiled it. Shoot. Whatever. Yeah. I spoiled it. Whatever. I'm gonna stop talking about Huey's mom. I felt a big lack of Maeve and Soldier Boy. They have reason why they're not in the season, but it's just God, I would have loved to see something from them. Yeah, I think that Soldier Boy from season 3 was just one of the best character additions to a show I've seen. It's almost like when, if you guys have seen Better Call Saul, when Lalo Salamanca gets added halfway through the show, and yet he steals it. Like, Lalo Salamanca only joins in Better Call Saul like halfway through the show. So the first half of the show, so that's like 3 seasons, he's not in it at all. And then the moment he joins, he is the main reason why most of the pegs turn, and a lot of the reason why Breaking Bad goes in the way it does. And I feel like that's a lot what Soldier Boy did in season 3, and it just felt like a big loss not having him there. But I think that if they do have an opportunity to bring it back in season 5, I think that'll be great. Same with Maeve. I think Queen Maeve is a really good character. Also, I think that them dropping the whole Temp V storyline kind of shot themselves in the foot because, you know, they really had a great storyline there in season 3, and it almost gave a way of having not like the same playing field, but like similar playing field, so that they could combat the Supes. And I really like that storyline from season 3. It makes sense why they dropped it. It's just that when you're comparing it to season 3, it's just not going to be as high, because I think their story from season 3 was better than this one. And so it just felt like a whole plot point was just lost. And it makes sense why it's lost. They had a great reason for it. It's just that you feel the loss. And so, yeah, it's just not as fun. And yeah, it was. Yeah. Newman's a character who I thought also felt very conflicted in the way that she's very. She always thinks it's gonna go her way, and then last minute she finds out it doesn't, and then she wants to leave the country. I haven't really gotten the hype for this character that everyone else has. This is not my favorite character. She does a lot to help the plot, and she's very interesting. She's just not my favorite. And I thought that her whole motive was never gonna work. But yeah, we'll have to see with how they're gonna continue that in season 5. Next up is Tech Knight, who was very over the top, sadistic, kinky guy. God, he's weird. The episode with Tech Knight almost made it feel like it was worse than Herogasm. And like, I felt so uncomfortable watching that episode. And Tech Knight was a huge reason for it, due to his racist comments and flirtatious attitude. God, he plays the part really well. It's just that he's too much for me. I'm not a big fan of this character. I thought it made sense for plot. It's just, this character's not my thing. I'm fine with where they left this character off. And then finally, I couldn't be talking about this season without obviously bringing up Anthony Starr's Homelander. Not only is this one of the best superhero / television villains of all time, this should be regarded as one of the best fictional villains, period, of all time. The performance that Anthony Starr brings to the table here is just incredible. He steals the show in every scene. The way he banners with the other characters, the way he just steals, like, his aura is wild. He enters a room, everyone just stops talking and lets him talk. He's just scary. Just the idea of someone having this much power and they threaten to use it for the downfall of humanity is just scary, man. I can see like a horror movie of a Superman, and I think that would be like really cool, because that would be terrifying. Having someone like Homelander exist and actually like kill the world using his power, like that'd be scary. It's like the scene from Invincible almost, with Omni-Man just literally like destroying a whole fucking planet. yeah, I thought that Homelander is just what a fantastic character. Can't wait to see where they bring him next. And I really hope that season 5, whilst because it is the last season, will give this character justice and really cement Anthony Starr's performance as one of the best of all time. So I would give The Boys season 4 a solid 8 out of 10. I would place it. I would say that season 2 is my least favorite. Then this season, season 4. Then season 1 is my second favorite, and then season 3 is my favorite. I think a big reason for season 3 being my favorite is Jensen Ackles, of course, the Soldier Boy. But again, Butcher's great, Huey's great, Anthony Starr as Homelander is fantastic. So I have a lot of reasons why season 3 is my favorite, but season 4 is another good, solid season to add to that. And I was very skeptical after those first 3 episodes, but they did land at home after those 3, and we got a lot of bangers after that. So I'm happy to say this was a good season. Thank you for listening, and that's the video. Bye.